Alright, so a lot of you asked for a spoilerific discussion of the film, and I'm happy to bang out a quick video for that, so here it is. Warning, this is just a supplementary video to my spoiler-free review that I released yesterday, so if you don't want to be spoiled, click off this video now. But if you don't mind being spoiled, or you're just coming here after watching the movie, then let's talk about it. Also, as I basically used all the available footage out right now for the review, I hope you don't mind this bare bones editing, as I don't really have much to work with right now. Now, what I want to talk about mostly is how much better the film could have been. Like, it really could have been something to put a whole new light to this franchise. So, as I'm guessing you already know the basic plot synopsis from my review, the important things to note in the movie are the new characters and their devious plot involving the Orgma. As it turns out, Yuna, the idol program, is actually an AI reconstruction of someone who died in Sword Art Online, and this was developed by different people's memories of her time during SAO. You can probably see where this is going. Dr. Shigemura, the developer of the Orgma, is actually the father of the deceased girl, and Eiji is her boyfriend, I think? I can't remember if he was her partner or just someone she was very close to, but either way, the plot is them trying to fully reconstruct her using the memories of everyone who was in SAO. So yes, any SAO player who dies in Ordinal Scale gets their memories of SAO taken away from them. And one of these people is Asuna, which you can actually see here with Asuna taking a hit from a dragon for Silica, as usual being fucking useless. This serves as the main stake of the game and is the crux of the drama that happens, which is good. I liked that. It wasn't something as dramatic as your life being taken away, but something a lot more personal was being lost. See, I know memory loss being a plot point for drama is a common cliche in itself, but the way it was handled was different from what we usually see. What we normally see with the memory loss cliche is a character losing all their memories, thus resetting their relationship with every other character, and the drama comes from not the amnesia victim themselves, but from everyone around them as they try their best to rebuild the relationship they had before. In Ordinal Scale, all that's lost is people's memory of SAO and everything that happened in that game. No relationships are reset, and Asuna of course still loves Kirito. But imagine losing some of your first memories you had with, say, your best friend, or in this case, your partner. Obviously, you're still best friends with them because you still have your memories from after that time, so your relationship has not changed. But not being able to remember how you met them, or indeed why you even became friends or lovers in the first place, knowing that there are some treasured memories in there, would be painful and emotionally straining. And seeing Asuna quietly break down from that revelation, I genuinely felt for her, and I didn't think I could ever be sympathetic to any of these characters. Now let's talk about the antagonist and the general plot line of the movie. So Dr. Shigemura was trying to reconstruct his dead daughter in AI form, and I've talked to people who thought the entire plot of using everyone's memory in SAO to reconstruct the personality of the deceased person as an AI program is stupid, and if you agree, then I urge you to watch an episode of Black Mirror called Be Right Back. It's a short story about a girl who lost her boyfriend in a car accident, but through new technology she is able to recreate her boyfriend as an android, entirely using the information from his posts and presence on his social media to construct his personality. It's a similar concept, and obviously it was handled much more interestingly than it was in Ordinal Scale, but it certainly did have the potential to be handled in a much more interesting manner instead of, you know, just making her an idol program. Though I will say that one flashback of Yuna excitedly showing her dad the nerve gear was really well done. In that one scene you understood why, yeah, I can kind of see why he's going so far for this. I mean, any dad who lost their daughter in such circumstances could go to incredible lengths to deal with the trauma of that. Then there is Eiji, who I thought had the potential to be a fantastic villain. See, the story behind him is that he is also an SAO survivor, but in-game he was pretty much a nobody. He didn't make any friends and wasn't really noticed by anyone or was even good at it. Unlike Kirito, who excelled in the world of VR, Eiji was an average player that never stood out or did anything worthwhile. But with augmented reality, he is a god due to his real-life athletic abilities, as opposed to Kirito, who in real life is just an average nerd living on cup ramen, feeling the limitations of his frail body in AR. He's the complete opposite of Kirito, from motivations to abilities to backstory, and the perfect foil to Kirito's godlike status that we see in the series. He had all the makings of a great villain who was not only a genuine threat, but also had sympathetic motivations that really could have added some depth into the series. So it hurts me to see all this potential be shafted almost as immediately as it was conceived, because almost as soon as it was revealed, Kirito overcame everything and beat his ass with like no effort. Yeah, if you thought Kirito was broken for being able to rise through the ranks in Aincrad by somehow soloing all the bosses himself, how about rising to a top 10 player for the entire game in what felt like a single day, if that even. It didn't even feel like his training montage went on for that long. He kinda just went edge mode and then suddenly he was toe to toe with Eiji. We spent all this time building up a genuine wall for Kirito to climb that logically cannot be climbed by simply willing himself to do so, and then he just overcame it by willing himself to do so. But here's where I thought they really drops the ball, because thematically, Ordinal Scale is an introspective look at the nature of the Sword Art Online experience. If this happened in the real world, the events of Aincrad would have been massively traumatic, but to some it was also the most important experience of their lives, as in the case of Kirito and Asuna. They met each other through the game, found their closest friends, and a fucking daughter, and came out of the experience with more than what they lost. Compare this to our antagonists, a father who lost his only daughter to the game, and an unpopular nobody who lost the only person who he had a connection with. For the first time, Kirito is fighting villains who are not pure evil, but are in fact sympathetic. It makes perfect sense why they have no issue erasing any memory of SAO or using the technology for their own gain, because those memories bring them nothing but pain. In fact, had Kirito gone through the same experience they did and maybe lost Asuna in SAO, he could very much be those people. We had a conflict that wasn't just good versus bad, but a whole shade of grey, and this could have been used as a platform to delve deeper into Kirito's own morality and question his own position from what he himself had personally gained from the game as opposed to everyone else. There was so much that could have been done with this. So many ways to develop the characters we had by putting them in a conflict that was not edgy, not black and white, and stems from the exact experience that shaped them into the people they are today. The setup was right there. Of course though, none of this ended up happening or was even close to being expanded on. We didn't see any deeper morality conflict or any kind of development for that matter at all. All this had the potential to be a franchise-changing piece of work. The elements were there, they just needed to be expanded on. As it stands though, nothing really changed. Eiji got his ass handed to him, but oh no, he was just being kind of sort of used by Shigemura, who himself was, apart from that one flashback scene, nothing short of just your cliche evil villain. Everyone got their memories back and had a gay old time playing more games. With all things said and done, there was no progression and just kind of felt like filler in the end. Sure, it was entertaining filler, but nothing really changed when it really could. As for minor gripes about the film, well, many people have already mentioned that even though this is augmented reality, there are things that seem impossible, like objects looking like they have weight, and creatures causing an effect on the real world like wind and all that. But SAO has always had a more simplistic look at the technology it used and was inspired by, and without all these effects it would have looked a lot dumber and less for why we watched it in the first place. So though it was never explained, I didn't really have much of a problem with that. And if I could touch on something quickly that I did actually like, hot damn, that last fight scene was definitely worth the ticket price. The final boss turns out to be the original intended final SAO boss, and just the scale of the thing made it truly feel like an epic boss battles you see and experience in MMOs. Once I mentally got over the fact that I wasn't going to see the plot points I wanted to expanded on, I just had a great time watching it. The moment when they call back to everything the entire franchise had done, from pretty much every named character getting involved to going through all the old designs for everyone. Even I, who am not an SAO fan at all, got pretty excited, so I can only imagine how SAO fans would have felt at that moment. But there was the moment where Kirito got back his black swordsman outfit with a dual sword, and I got a bit hyped, and almost immediately after thought, God, I absolutely hate myself right now for that. But it's just a testament to how well the action scene was done and how good it felt to see on the big screen. So yeah, that was everything I wanted to talk about this film, spoilers and all. If you have any thoughts from just hearing the spoilers, or if you've seen the film yourself and have anything else you want to discuss, then leave a comment in the comment section. As I know discussing anime films are harder since not everyone has seen them and there's not really a place to do so. But apart from that, hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you all next time.